are so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Welcome back, Daylight Burners. Happy Thursday. This is the Friggin Farm Ranch Report for Thursday, March 19th, 2026. I'm your host, Matt McKinley. Do we have any new listeners? I don't know if I've had any new listeners in a long time. But anyways, today we are talking about, I'm on the wrong slide already. Off to a hot start, fellas and ladies. Let's be real. There's no ladies listening. Well, there's like three. All right, so we got a few things to talk about today. We got the markets, as always, and then we got the JBS Greeley strike that we touched on the other day. And then there's some updates on the Texas wildfires. More importantly, the paperwork and programs and stuff involved. So, there's nothing really. It's kind of a holding pattern, wait and see, because it seems like nobody wants to get burned. But let's just jump on into everything. Grain yesterday ended up at 463 1/4, up 9 1/4. Beans 1161 3/4, as up 4 3/4. Wheat 604, up 604. No, 604 1/4, up 14.5 cents. Wheat leading the charge there. Grains up across the board, but wheat leading the way due to weather. The plains weather's got a drier outlook. It's starting to creep in. So we talked about those extremes. It's looking like it could be extremely dry. The shorts are covering and guys getting out of bad position. And it's not really like a full-on rally, it seems like. And it's just like a bounce back. But feed costs are still high. So anybody feeding cattle right now is not they're not getting any relief from the grain side. So so if you're waiting on the feed to come your way, it hadn't yet. So that's the input side. On the cattle side, live cattle finished at 235.40, up 17 cents for the April contract. Feeders, April feeders 353.82, down 97 cents. April lean hogs at 93.75, up 2 cents. So live cattle were steady, kind of holding ground. Feeders backed off after the hot start this week. Hogs, nothing, just kind of choppy. So it's, like I said, it seems kind of like a wait and see market. Nobody wanting to get bit, really. So and nobody wants to get aggressive because of the JBS packing plant deals. So that's kind of the long and short of that. Everybody's just kind of waiting to see how that situation resolves itself, because the packers are the choke point in the beef supply chain. They always have been, probably always will be. And the way we've set up our industry here, it's just a handful of really big plants. They work really well when they run, but when they don't, it puts the whole system in a shock. We saw that through the COVID stuff, and with the Holcomb fire here several years ago. And where if you're new to the show, or if you're been listening to the show, or if you've been in the cattle game very long, you know this song and dance already. So the elephant in the room, the fat steer that ain't getting his head lopped off at the moment is JBS Greeley. So it's the first real packing strike in quite a long time, decades. 3,800 workers all walked out. It's a 6,000 head a day kill plant there in Greeley, Colorado. And that's about 6% of all of U.S. beef capacity. Like, that's a lot of cattle that are not being killed right now. So that's even if it's temporary, that's a big hiccup. So we're already running the smallest cattle herd since the 80s. It was at 7, I don't know, long time. And so real tight supply. Now you've got the packing side being disrupted, and that brings some real volatility. You're taking capacity out of a tight system, and shit gets wild real quick. So why it happened on the union side? They're saying unfair labor practice. They want higher wages. They've got safety concern, and the line speed has jumped from 420 head to 420 head, up from 390 an hour. So 420 animals an hour on the kill line, up from 390. So it does, it's 30 head an hour, but that's a pretty good increase, and especially like continued throughout the day. That's a pretty. So I get where they're coming from. I never worked on the kill side of the plant, but I did work in the post kill and the fabrication side with the lean, finely textured beef or pink slime. And those guys that work on the kill floor, that's a pretty tough job, even with all the automation and stuff. You're still humans dealing with animals, and big large fat animals. So it's now you're adding another 30 an hour. That it's hard to keep that pace up. So yeah, I get where they're saying. On the JBS side, they're saying they have competitive compensation. Of course they do. And they're trying to keep the plant running in partial shifts at the moment, and they're shifting some of their kill to other plants. But the way they've been kind of losing their ass a little bit here lately, and by losing their ass, I mean they're not just completely making money hand over fist. Yeah, they're not that upset about it, I don't think. And Colorado is a right to work state, I think, but it is a union plant, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure how that all works out. But this whole thing here is really what's kind of got the market in the, like I said, in a holding pattern. It's not really. It's kind of upset, but like nobody's wanting really to make the first move. And then those union guys, I'm sure. I wonder if they're actually getting to use their union fees to do actual union stuff instead of just giving money to a bunch of purple-haired communists somewhere. But I don't know. I'm not real for sure. So the thing is, when these plants shut down, the cattle don't go away. They just start to back up. And so you have two options, and you just hold on to them, and you keep feeding them, and they get fatter. The feed efficiency starts to slip because they're they're already at optimal slaughter weight. So you've got them. They performed like you want them to perform. They have done their job, and they're like, but you're like, nah, well, just eat some more. Just keep eating. Just keep eating. And so you're burning money on that end. They're not seeing a whole lot of benefit on their end. It's just more fat. So you're creating an animal that they're just wanting to dock you for too. It's too heavy. It's we gotta change our chains. And okay, well, fuck you. Pay your guys a little bit better next time, and our cattle can get to where they're supposed to be. So there's that option, and it's not a good one. Or you ship them further, and that's not a great option because fuel costs are already high, and then we've got the Iran bullshit going on. So that's all jacked up too, and so it's not a great situation either way. On the packing side, like they're losing money by not because their plant's sitting idle, but they can shift that around and pick it up elsewhere a little bit. But they're not very happy about it either, and so I'm kind of curious as to see how all of that starts to play out. So yeah, neither option's cheap. So when the cattle start to stack up, then your local cash bid gets cheaper because guys are trying to offload cattle. And as you know, if you've been around fat cattle a whole lot, like when they're at that weight, they're just a ticking time bomb. They're waiting to find some way to die. So yeah, it's not a great option keeping them around. And then so that really softens up the local cash trade. And then if JBS is able to reroute effectively, it creates like kind of choppy and uneven markets. So it makes the regional differences matter, like that didn't matter before, now matter in a big way real quick. So it's kind of weird. So the packer power is beef is already at record or near record prices. So then you put some more stress in that, and then you tighten the capacity in the Mountain West region by taking out this one plant. And so the system relies on just these handful of big plants, and one of them goes down. And so we've got this awesome system with these mega plants that run really smooth when they're running. But then when you take 6,000 head a day out of the equation, even temporarily, it really sends shockwaves across the entire market. So if you're local, I'll say this one here in Gardnerville, I think they average about maybe 25, 50 head a week. Very small. That plant goes down, the owners feel it, and whoever's got cattle contracted to them for that week, they're out of luck. But not a huge deal. Like that's like throwing a grain of sand into the lake. Makes a ripple, but nobody really feels it. But 6%, like you're throwing a freaking boulder into the lake, and you're gonna see some water shooting way up in the air. You're gonna see some waves. Nothing might not really happen unless you're right there in the wake of that, of where it landed. But if you're on the outer edges, like you're gonna feel some stuff, but it's not necessarily gonna hurt. But if you're right around there, boy, yeah, it could hurt you real bad. So, yeah, too much weight on too few packers, and that's the system they've designed. They built that by design. So, but turns out it's pretty fragile, and this shows you in real time how it's what fragility looks like. Fragile must be Italian. All right, so Texas wildfires. I didn't do a very good job of. I didn't do a job at all of covering it while they were going on. So. Down in Texas, there wasn't as widespread as the fires in in Nebraska going on right now, which it sounds like they're maybe starting to get a handle on some of it, and a lot of it just the grass is just burnt out. Those sandhill pictures are pretty devastating. But in Texas, they had a lot more cattle gone. So there was these big panhandle fires. The Lavender Fire is around 18,000 acres, 8-Ball around 13,000, and there was a handful of others there in Texas and Oklahoma, some in Kansas. They killed cattle, wiped out pasture, hay, and fence, all of it. And people that were were already scrambling for feed, into late February. So then it didn't stop. There was some smaller fires through it was Yellow Fire, Randall County, Cabin Creek, and they were all between call it 5 and 15,000 acres. They weren't as widespread, but they're just, it's damage on top of damage, and but all not great. And a lot of cattle lost. So it sounds like the livestock have fared better up in Nebraska. They've still lost quite a few, and probably going to be selling a bunch off. But in Texas, they straight out lost and had to euthanize a ton. That was a pretty nasty deal. And so it's not just one bad day. It's just like week after week after week. Grass is gone, fence gone, some of your cattle's gone, and you don't have anything to feed the ones you got left. So the USDA stepped in on March 17th with the disaster assistance covering the 2026 losses. We covered this a little bit the other days, but it's an important point, so we're going to hammer it again. So this includes both the February fires and the March fires. And your deadline to get your paperwork in is March 1st, 2027. And so this kind of deal doesn't just hurt a place. It sets it back, several years. And then if you don't get your paperwork done right, it could set you back even more, and then you could just be plain out money. So you do have some help, but you got to handle it right. So the Livestock Indemnity Program, or LIP, pays on excess death loss, also covers forced sales tied to disaster. But documentation is everything. If you don't have proof, it didn't happen as far as they're concerned. So make sure you document it. Document. In fact, if anybody needs some help documenting stuff with drone, let me know. I would be more than happy to come out and help you out with that. So if you don't have proof of it, it didn't happen, don't really remember it. It never really happened. That's what they're going to say on that LIP deal. So then you have the ELAP, which covers forage loss, hauled feed, hauled water, and you must tie losses directly to the wildfire. Timing and paperwork matter. This is one where the details really, really do matter. So make sure you document everything and make sure you get it all in before March 1st, 2027. And hopefully you come out on the long end of the stick. CRP and cleanup help. There is CRP emergency grazing and haying that's available in multiple states. Landowners can help others out by opening access as well. There's the emergency conservation program with fence rebuilding, debris cleanup, and Yeah. So there is stuff out there, but they're not going to come find you to come get it. Especially with conservative, for anybody just listening, I did put that in air quotes, conservative administration. They may not be quite so willing to just pony up money, but also the administration does seem to know a little bit about what side of the bread is, or where his bread's buttered at. Ranchers have supported him tremendously, so I would like to think that some of that would come, some gratitude to be shown on the flip side, but yeah, I wouldn't count on it. So, long story short, nobody's coming to save you, but there is some help out there, but you got to go find it on your own, and you got to cover your ass on your end. So make sure you do that. All right. So to wrap it all up, we got grain up, feed's still expensive, cattle are steady, but it's not a happy market. The Greeley strike really shows you how thin this system really is. This whole thing is really kind of a house of cards. But like I said, when that house is put together really well, you never wouldn't know how fragile it is. But take that one thing out and shit gets wild. And then Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, I'm sure yours are going to be similar, but we'll cover that when we get there. As far as helping the Nebraska ones, I know Nebraska Cattlemen's has a post. I know Jen Hill posted something the other day. I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick before we leave here today. I want to make sure and do my due diligence and let you guys know what's going on and how to help out for the Texas and Nebraska stuff. So, okay, I'll pull this up on the screen. And so we can so you guys can have access to it. So Nebraska Sandhills Rancher Fire Relief. There we go. It is there's a QR code. You can make checks payable to Nebraska Sandhills Ranchers Fire Relief, P.O. Box 291, Oshkosh, Nebraska 69154. It's the Kearney Community Foundation. It's a 501c3. So anyway, for more information, call 308-778-6262. That is 308-778-6262. If you're just listening, go to my please go to my YouTube, or you can watch on Spotify or wherever. It's not just a plug, but you can go to minute 24 on this, and you can pull up the QR code right there, and make sure if you can help out, please do so. And yeah, so on that note, grain's up, feed's still expensive, cattle are steady. Greeley strike, we'll see how that plays out, but it's really throwing a wrench into everything. Texas, document your losses. Make sure you get your documentation done. Cover your ass, because nobody else is going to do it for you. But there's opportunity out there, but there's a lot of risk coming along with it. So I appreciate you guys. We'll keep tracking it. I do apologize for no show yesterday. The internet was kind of down. Not all of it, but some of it was down. I know StreamYard wasn't working, and my AI wasn't working, guys. My AI wasn't working, so I wasn't able to put a show together for you. No, I I got rid of like all my my, it's not analog because it's all digital, but the way I could I could do something, and because I it's all technical, and I'm sure you guys don't give two shits about it. So I'm just going to stop talking. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll be back tomorrow with the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report, but move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.